motion to accept as presented?
I'll make
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, recognition of the public. We have 2 people signed up. We will allow minimal questions as we go down the schedule on certain projects if there's any. James, you're up.
Grand subject of public transparency, but looking to throw you all a couple softballs. I noticed on one of the Facebook groups regarding Cuyahoga Township this week, sorry, James Andrew, 830 Bremer, that Bethany Inman was kind enough to take time to really try and add context to what the planning commission really has to go through with detail and steps. But not everybody is likely in our township on that Facebook group. Now, I know the videos might be able to reach some more people, so I was just, as a public comment, shall we say, instead of a question, it would be nice if you would be willing to try and disseminate for what's going to the public on videos more about your role and what you do for those who may not attend the meetings, may be thinking, oh, what are they doing at the data center? I'm using hyperbole here, but hit it out of the ballpark. Maybe explain to the public a little more about what your role is, especially maybe regarding the data center.
Are you asking for roles and responsibilities for zoning and executive planning commission? Or on a certain topic?
I would say anything that might help the public to try and quell some of the concerns, shall we say.
Well, we do have a meeting on the books July 23rd, I believe, for that sole reason at the BBC.
Will that be explained what your role is during that meeting?
Mark?
So, are you looking for, let me try to understand what you're saying. So you're looking like, what's the general purpose of a planning commission, and are there advisory to the supervisors, or are you specifically relating to the data center process, and if you're then specifically drilling down for that meeting on the 23rd, is that what you're asking?
I would say, what's your role in what is happening with the data center ordinance?
Yeah, so I mean, the roles would be the same as they are generally. Stuff will come too, and maybe we can put some stuff on the website if that's helpful, but the planning commission will review, is more like the technical work arm of the supervisors, so they'll listen to it, go through it, make a recommendation to the board of supervisors who have the final say on yes or no on the ordinance or changes they want to make. So that's how it works. And so the meeting on July 23rd, that Thursday meeting, is going to be set up almost like a special workshop where we'll have the supervisors and the planning commission there. So we can all hear the same thing, get all the information, and the public can ask questions, and we'll have the attorney who's working on the ordinance, Derek Bernardo, our engineer, and we're trying to see if the special assistance we're getting from a sound engineer, if he can attend that meeting as well. So that's part of it, but that's just to review and look at and get a final draft to take into the formal review process, which is up here for the planning commission to review, and then go to the board of supervisors for final action.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, James.
And I guess it's a confusing process and there's a lot going on. So if you guys do have questions, just holler.
Kelly Price.
Good evening, gentlemen. I just have some questions. I'm learning.
State your address, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. 220 Butter Road.
220 Butter Road.
Yes, sir. I guess my question is, the first time I came to one of the meetings, I asked about the comprehensive plan. Do we know where we're at on that, or are we still working on that?
Well, I know it's in progress. Mark, do you have an update?
Sure. So we have adopted the regional comprehensive plan, the pre-municipal regional plan, which I will say, I think it's a good plan, but it's not real specific for Palo Township and for what we're looking for. So we are contracting with our engineer, and we're gonna be working on a more, I would call it a specific plan. Yeah. So we'll pick 4 or 5 key issues that we think are most relevant and really drill down into those. So do a more specific plan or a targeted comprehensive plan that's gonna be specific to the township.
Okay, and I thought, based on my reading, that before you even update a plan, that you would have to hold a meeting with the residents first to get our input on what to put into the comprehensive plan.
We haven't even started that step yet. We're not even to that stage yet.
Oh, okay, Mark.
There will be a group of citizens from the township, I'm told, that will look over that plan also.
Yeah.
There will be, okay.
So it's a very public process, but it doesn't move fast. So we're looking at it like probably 2 years, I would say, to really do it well and go through everything.
Okay, because I guess I misunderstood, because I thought it was with a lawyer or someone outside that was working on it, that's what I was told.
No.
You're getting confused with the data center.
The data
No,
center.
it wasn't the data center, it was actually the comprehensive plan, because I read that, and it did not, like he said, it showed like the residents on regular public water, which
Yeah.
that was not true, and most of it was for like North York, Manchester, it wasn't specific to the Tonawanda
Right,
Township.
that's why we need to what we adopted was just pretty much a generalization with the 3 townships put together. So we have to work on our own specific within Tonawanda Township.
Okay, and then my next question is, please don't take this personal, but I thought you would have to have a comprehensive plan before you even consider on building, like with the data centers or even a warehouse. So if we don't have a comprehensive plan, how are we approving all these without having our own plan?
Well, we do have a comm plan. It's dated, it's more than 10 years old,
Yeah,
okay? So everything that's been done in the last year, even before this data center, we knew what a data center was. Everything was being done under the old plan. But amendments were being made, things were being approved, okay? So we know, and that's part of the reason why we, Manchester, said, we gotta get together as a group, we gotta start updating the comp plan,
Yeah.
correct.
So that's all part of the process.
So the 2024 plan is officially our comprehensive plan, so we do have one.
Okay,
Absolutely. But I think all of us agree that it's a good general plan. We just need something more specific for us.
okay, great, thank you.
And Mark, there will be, actual public hearings as well on the comp plan, would there not be?
Public meetings, public hearings, all of that. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
She was down before I got into song.
Okay,
Before.
Yep.
Yeah, I also have one question, so I didn't put one on.
come on, sign your name.
The sheet's full now, we can't see.
Get real loud, so it's not efficient.
Uh-oh, here, you need a pen?
Good evening. Jim 4760 Barter Road. So I want to say that I have a petition, a lot of people know about it. The petition is for signatures to get on the ballot for November, a question about adding more supervisors to the township. If you would like to do that, I'll be outside after the meeting, if you have some questions, I'll try to explain it. On tonight's agenda, I see, on the agenda, new housing developments and the auto auction expansion. I know you guys heard all this before. Some of our roads are a step up from Calfast. We're sharing these roads, the school buses are younger drivers that are just learning to drive, and we have all these trucks on these And now we're thinking about, adding Strinestown. Think about adding more traffic to that area. I think we need some road improvements before we add anything to that area. I think we're trying to put 50 pounds of shit in 10 pound bag.
How do you spell it?
I think we're gonna start putting our residents first before the developers. We live here. This is our house. We all work pretty hard to have our homes, to keep them up nicely, pay our taxes, and we just have all these outside developers coming in and causing total chaos in our township. I talked to probably at least 250 people as I've been getting my signatures for the petitions. People are upset, very upset with the township, and mainly the trucks in their houses. I still talk to a lot of people where they hear the trucks running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're not sleeping, waking up. We have trucks spilling stones on Mill Creek and Canal Road, mulch being spilled. What happens when a motorcycle gets these stones with this mulch? It's out of hand. Not trying to be disrespectful to anyone up here on the board, but I think Colorado Township is failing the residents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Jennifer Campbell.
Jennifer Campbell, 14-8 Palawan Creek Road, Manchester. I only have one question, and this is kind of on the line of the AI building on Bowers Bridge. Is that a done deal, or are we is there still a proposal for Jim Rexroth to allow for the solar panels? Because I've heard through the grapevine that he's kind of kicking back toward that. So are we going to allow him to do the solar panels, or are we going to keep pushing for the AI?
Great question. Martin's question is, now we know the AI thing is nothing's been submitted officially.
Correct.
Is his solar panel plan still in an active date, or did that fall out of date?
I'm not sure. I thought he had withdrawn it, but he may have. Yeah.
And at the end of September,
That's the zoning approval.
That's for the, yeah.
that's
The zoning approval is active, but the land development, you're correct with the land, you submitted a land development plan that was withdrawn.
okay.
But the zoning approval is still applicable until September.
Did I answer your question?
I guess, and more or less, y'all are going to keep pushing that for the AI instead of allowing for the.
I'm gonna jump in there, I don't think anybody here is saying that. We're saying what is he currently approved to do versus what he isn't. He currently has a zoning approval for the solar park, he has no approval for data centers. He submitted a text amendment that the supervisors nor the planning commission have reviewed or recommended approval, so there's no approval or anything like that.
Because there is talk, I'm not going to say any names or any of that crap, but there is talk that he did make a suggestion to someone that, people are wanting the solar field instead of the AI, that there might be a possibility to go ahead and kick back to that. But yet you guys are telling me otherwise.
No,
Is that what I'm understanding of that?
I don't think we're saying otherwise at all. I think we're saying that may be a possibility. I haven't heard anything officially.
Okay,
But his solar plan is still active, so if he wants to move forward on that, there's a path forward for him to do that. There is no pathway right now for anything for the AI center on his property.
It was on our previous agenda to come up and present.
Correct, and that got
But
kicked
then
out.
he withdrew.
correct,
So there's still a path forward if you choose to, but it has to come through us.
okay, correct, because that's why we were all wondering
Yeah.
why he backed out on the conversation that day and didn't speak up in front of us. When he sat here in that seat there
Yeah,
and forcefully wanted to do and speak or talk
yeah,
in front of all of us, and then the next meeting,
yeah, he was
he
good.
went through,
Yeah.
and it all got hush hush. And none of us ever found out or heard another word on that whole
And
aspect.
this is our first meeting in a couple months to address this.
Okay,
He withdrew the package.
okay, all right,
Basically, he got another venue,
correct.
and that was the Daily Record. If you read
Oh,
the.
yeah, I was there, yeah.
So when he got that big of an audience, he didn't need this audience.
Correct, correct. Okay, all right.
Thank you. Okay, let's start with the old business,
Yeah, one more.
I wanted to ask Mark, is the data center ordinance draft still going to be released on the website tomorrow, on the township page?
Yeah, we should have ready for March.
oh, while we're thinking about that, do we have, or can we get a copy of Manchester that they just, did the supervisors approve that, theirs? Was that talked about?
It did get approved.
Okay.
So I've been collecting several, you said one from another county too, that has done something. So what I might do is just put links to all of them on our website. If you want to go research them and find them, I'll put them all up there. And we'll put the actual PDFs of our draft and the map up there, so we'll have it, you guys can see it.
Isn't Manchester the one that just said no data center?
They said industrial.
They said any industrial zone.
Yeah.
Dover
I know I've
saying
heard something
industrial
about
too, and existing industrial land.
Okay. Who's here for Carvana?
Good evening, my name is Corey Green, I'm with Kinlan Warren Associates in our Canada, Pennsylvania office. Here with me tonight is Senior Project Manager, General Dan, she's with Carvana.
I didn't catch the name.
Jennifer Rogan.
Logan.
Rogan.
Rogan.
R-O-L-E-A-N.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So we were before the board back in March of this year. Since that time, we have made a couple more submissions, worked back and forth with the township engineer. The latest review letter that we have dated June 17th, we reviewed all those items and feel that these are all items that we're able to comply with moving forward, and we were happy to answer any questions the board might have with the application.
Derek, he said a June 8th review letter. We don't have a copy of that.
That may have been, did you guys get the link I sent you for the folder? Was it in there?
You sent us the link?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was just the current package that we had. I think it's March.
Mark, I think we have more email problems because I didn't get a link from you at all.
It's this whole Comcast thing, whatever it is. All right.
We made the hard copy submission
Yeah.
to the municipality that
You guys let me go print off copies for you so you can be looking at them when Derek starts going through it? Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, that'd be best because I'm working off of May 21 that I was going to ask Derek.
You also received the traffic review.
No,
Yeah, it's all in that folder that should have been on the link.
no.
All right.
Larry didn't see it.
Uh-oh.
Well, how about the board, come up with some questions for Cory?
Yep.
While Mark does that. Go ahead.
Right? Looking at the overall drainage plan. I think that's on page C 300. The retaining pond that's directly south of the asphalt area. Okay. Well, that will drain into the wetlands to the east of that. Okay. And then that runs down into a little stream that then runs into the little kind of water. Okay. On the property next door to that, which is south also of the asphalt, I took a look at it and there's a slope going west. Do you have any plans to help to redirect that to the retaining pond or to build up the little stream that will go through the neighbor's property?
So I think the direct answer to your question is no. That additional asphalt area will be some underground storage and then a level spreader down to the existing stream.
To which stream?
Mark just left it. Show you on the plan.
Along Locust Point?
No, along the eastern property line, which eventually.
Well, the property has a stream on your property that runs down to it. But then there's an adjunct one that runs through the neighbor's property.
Yes, yes. So the one that runs through the neighbor's property, we will not be altering or modifying, will not be changing the flows into that existing basin.
Okay, so you're going to be able to divert all that,
Yes,
all that water.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And we did actually, existing analysis of that basin to make sure that it's functioning properly as originally designed. There is the outflow pipe, it's a 48-inch pipe. It's actually the end wall has settled somewhat. So as part of this plan, we would propose to repair that, set that back to the proper elevation and make sure that that pipe works, the water flows properly.
Okay. Well, will you be able to stop in and talk to him and how you're going to mitigate the problem?
Probably adjacent property owner?
Yeah, the property owner.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, because when he showed me it, it looked like it needed work.
Gotcha.
So he's a little concerned.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're not proposing to disturb.
Okay, that's comforting to him.
Okay.
It's better comforting you than me. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else there?
Not bad at the moment.
Okay. What you got?
Thank you guys for working with engineers and meeting those, suggestions for us. Do you guys have a plan and action to meet the community's understanding of the traffic load that's on state roads and the exits that won't be improved while you're already in operation, and competing with 2 other warehouses that are yet to be fulfilled, and that already have, the current traffic that you see? I think it was your estimation was 1,000 trucks in a shift, right, shipping out, and then 3 shifts of workers. Is that not correct?
So there's 2 shifts for workers.
For workers, but then the load of traffic of operations, 700 cars?
Let me just make sure I give you the right number. So the total number of trips 10,800
A day or a shift?
in a 24-hour period.
Okay.
That is spread out,
Throughout the day.
yeah, it's spread out all day. But to add to that, the larger question about traffic and from traffic. As you know, this is Susquehanna Trail State Highway. Pennsylvania Auto Auction actually already has 4 existing highway occupancy permits for low volume driveways. We have prepared traffic impact studies submitted to the township, we submitted to PennDOT. We have comments back from PennDOT, we have comments back from the township traffic engineer, which we feel we can address those without any issue. But at the end of the day, it's PennDOT that we need to make happy, as they are the ones issuing the permits for the driveway. Derek had given me some information, an adjacent developer is going to improve the southbound off-ramp at the I-83 interchange to provide a southbound right turn lane, completely separate from this project. It's part of another highway occupancy permit. So that was in fact taken into account with our traffic impact study. Our traffic impact study also takes into account a general growth rate for York County, as well as specific traffic from other developments. That is something that's standard practice and officers do, make sure that we're doing a comprehensive look at traffic in the area.
Eric, hold on. Explain this southbound exit.
Yeah. So this was actually part of, the Freedom Square plan, but the North Point development in Manchester hit the trigger first.
Now, which is North Point?
North Point is the, where Regional Way is built,
Okay.
the new police station.
Hmm.
That's the North Point development. So as part of that development, they were required to do a regional traffic plan by PennDOT, and the impact from that development put over the limit for the I-83 southbound lane. So if you guys recall from previous projects, the way, the reason that we have such a horrible impact on the Susquehanna Trail is because those traffic lights are timed and set up such that traffic cannot back up on 83. That's why they're always going to get the green coming off of the highway and go back Susquehanna Trail up just to make sure those off ramps never get backed up. So unfortunately, we get stuck with the red while the highway runs clear. I understand. So what they looked at is the traffic load coming southbound, getting off of that exit. They could increase the capacity of that off ramp if they put in 2 lanes. Now I know driving that road, a lot of people make 2 lanes anyway. When there's a truck there, it's really tough to get to the right, make a right on red, so it stacks up. So the thought process is that off ramp is widened to include a left turn lane and a right turn lane. That off ramp can stack more vehicles, which would allow a longer green phase on Susquehanna Trail.
Yeah, that's what I'm mitigating.
Try to get out.
Ma'am, raise your hand, I'll acknowledge it, but we've got questions here we're working on. Time frame for that.
So where we're at is, as far as time frame, I don't know. It's under process right now. The township has just had to sign a maintenance agreement. I will say in the next 2 years, but I don't know for sure. It's PennDOT. It moves pretty slow.
And if we would approve you, what's your go rate of when you start operations?
Potentially start construction early 2027.
So we could be a year in on that.
Again, I don't want to be quoted on the timing of that off-ramp project. I don't know for sure what it is.
But you're late 27 is operational in the new building.
Yeah.
Pretty close?
But traffic won't be, the traffic counts, that's at peak traffic.
Okay.
We have some ramp up time, so we won't be 2,000 trips on day 1.
Yeah.
We might be
Okay.
So that traffic study take into account for the other trucks that are down the road that,
Yeah, so when we do traffic counts, the current technology actually, we put video cameras up at intersections, so it videos for hours at a time, all the cars going through the intersection. And then we have to make a classification as to passenger cars and heavy vehicles. Obviously, heavy vehicles are longer, they take longer to start up, longer to slow down, so we have to factor that into our analysis there.
Okay. Other questions? Go ahead. Who wants to go first? Go ahead.
Mary Ann already, 775 Road. My concern is Cloverleaf. We try to make a left out of Cloverleaf, and they have the no turn, and they don't have a no turn on red on the highway. So you constantly, you can barely get out. You cannot get out. So what I was told is a township road going into a state road, going into a federal highway. Did you even examine Cloverleaf Road, or is it just too bad, too hard for my luck?
So, when we started this process, we go through what's called a scoping process. So we identify what the development is, we meet with PennDOT, we meet with the county, we meet with the township, and collectively decide on what intersections need to be included in the traffic study. The driveways along Susquehanna Trail, the driveway along Industrial Road, and the I-83 interchange was what was identified and agreed upon by PennDOT and township to be included in the study. So I didn't purposely or accidentally exclude it, it was not included as part of the scoping process.
So sorry for my luck, is basically what you're telling me.
Mary Ann, when the warehouse went back there on Cloverleaf, the big one, the first one, we literally begged PennDOT to allow us to put a signal like in Cloverleaf. That developer was gonna pay for it, he was gonna pay for new traffic lights throughout the whole 3-4 light section, improve timing, do all kinds of new technology. And the state engineer said, no, it's too close, it doesn't meet us their standards. So I agree with you 100%. We're sitting here fighting it every day. I don't know what to do. Well, you know, get your group together and go to Harrisburg.
Yeah.
That's what it might take.
Well, maybe this warehouse should have never went in. Well, and then you wouldn't have had that problem if y'all wouldn't have passed.
Yeah.
Well, now we got a tricky one.
Go ahead.
Sherry Rickerson, 495 Thanks Mill. So I'm a resident of Town, and I'm here to tell you that we have an accident on 83 every day. My backyard faces it. I've been there to call 911, I've been there to throw things down to people. When that happens, that trail is horrendous. We can't get out, we can't get in. And I think honestly, I'm not trying to like, when TMI opens, that is something else we gotta worry about because we need to have evacuation routes. And I think about it because I work down in York Haven, I live in Town. I mean, some days it's hard to get out. It's even hard there. I have to be careful coming down Town from the cemetery to the trail because they come around that road now 50 miles an hour. I mean, I think this is something that we need to think hard on. I mean, we're all taking a hard hit with this. And like, I've seen it. I've seen where, you know, right now they're working on 83. It took the other day to go a half a mile, 35 minutes, because everybody was jumping off at 83. And that's how it is with an accident. You just sit. So if we need a fire truck down there, I mean, we're lucky that we have Town Fire, but sometimes the fire trucks are not there, they're at someone's house. And you have to wait for them to come down like everybody else. But we're in that little corner, and we're getting pushed further and further, where it's hard to get out.
Go ahead.
So when the new warehouse comes, I noticed that there's not a, will there be signs there that you can't go back? Cloverleaf and make a left on Butter, we've seen more and more tractor and trailers come, for you probably can. They're coming back that, I don't even know why.
They're coming my way, so.
They're going everywhere.
Yeah, no, no, you got hit on my motorcycle.
So I'm wondering, are we putting signs, like when I go into the man shack?
Sort of like we have on Cross Farm, that they're not supposed to back Cross
Well,
Farm.
they're coming, nice new road sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, you understand their question?
Yeah.
I think that's a supervisor's question, obviously, but I agree with them. I think there should be some extra signage which is allowed, or would be allowed, to, you know, get the truckers not to go back Cloverleaf any further, and like it is on, Cross Farm.
On the same note there, I am a retired truck driver, okay? Most truck drivers, especially the Albies, they don't read, they don't listen to signs, they do what they want. The only way to stop that is, and I've seen it up in Camp Hill, the only way to stop that is to put up an archway. Screw 'em. If they make that turn and they get locked because they can't fit underneath of it, sorry about their damn luck.
Mark, we also had success at EF3 with, we did some of their signage with 3 or 4 different languages, which helped.
Yeah.
Just the warehouse.
Yeah.
So this is what we're proposing, what I think access of our main driveway. So it's Russian, Bosnian, and Spanish.
Good.
Similar to the other development in the township. This is just no right turn out of the driveway. So obviously it's not going to be the same sign as you have because that's do not enter. This is no right turn. So that's what we're proposing to do at the driveway.
As traffic approaches the property, do most of the cars go to the east into that parking lot before they go to the inspection station?
Yes, yes. Depending if it's a Stinger or the car hauler, with multiple vehicles on a tractor trailer, yes, all those go to the east, on the east side of Susquehanna Trail, to drop cars off. The fixed body delivery trucks that you see, it's just the one car that says Carvana on the side of it. Those will arrive in the park via the east. Employees will park on the east. There will be vehicle test drives that happen. All of that will be on the west side. That's, both sides are actually secure access. So we'll have to go to a security gate. Security gate is placed far enough off of the roadway that there will not be any vehicle queuing concerns out on the Susquehanna Trail.
So the east is your incoming and receiving lines, and the west is your customer test driving, and then part B, then you'll have interchangeable east and west, back and forth.
Yeah, so,
This facility will be open to customers to test drive vehicles.
Okay.
All these
I just heard test drive, so.
Yeah, all these vehicles will be purchased online. These vehicles will be delivered to the customer. The test drive that will happen is like during the
Your
reconditioning.
inspection.
Yes,
Yeah.
process, so if we need to reset computers or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay, other questions are from the board. Chris, do you have anything? Okay, I had 2. What road improvements on the Susquehanna Trail, or how are you going to reconfigure the Susquehanna Trail along your property?
so at this point, we don't have final concurrence from PennDOT.
Okay.
Or acceptance of the traffic study, however, the 4 driveways that are on Susquehanna Trail today, as I mentioned before, one of them will be closed. I mean, they're
Sort of gated off now.
3 of the 4 are barricaded now.
Yeah.
One of them on the west side will be closed completely. The main driveway opposite Industrial Road, we're proposing that be a medium volume driveway for PennDOT standards. And we're going to try and realign that slightly because it's all a little bit from Industrial Road. We will do ADA accessible ramps and pavement markings for the pedestrians. All of those things are there today. The ADA ramps are not in compliance with current standards. The pavement markings are worn. So essentially, those will be reconstructed truck that meets certain standards and meets the market.
You're definitely bringing York City water under the expressway to the property now.
That is our intention, yes, because that's the only way for these projects to get water. So we are actively working with York County Water.
Okay.
Company.
Is there skepticism there?
No skepticism, it's just, figuring out what is the best way to bring it across.
Okay. Okay, once you get across, and then you'll be servicing your new building, what will you be doing along Susquehanna Trail?
So the proposed water main will go down, will service the new building, come down industrial, Susquehanna Trail, and it will actually go north about half the length of the property along Susquehanna Trail.
Okay, finally half.
That's as far as we need to take it to service actually the existing building up in the northeast corner. And that's what the water company is requesting that we do.
Okay. I'd love to see, do you have any hydrants on the, I couldn't see any hydrants on the drawing now.
We are not that far along yet.
Okay.
Our water company is giving us a preliminary sketch, but that level of detail is not been defined yet.
Okay. Because I think there should be at least one hydrant along your property.
Yep.
If nothing else, towards the entrance to industrial highway, that the fire company can lay a line up in. And I'd love to see a hydrant at the end of your property. That would go a long way, so that's giving some additional fire protection to the Strinestown community.
Yeah. Yeah, we can absolutely talk with your water company when we get to that.
Yeah, that's, I'll be watching you very closely with that.
Well, if anybody wants to donate funds to.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Go to that as well.
You'll make it back in 2 years.
Well, I don't know what, just put a bug in your water company's ear. They should start talking to residents in Strinestown. There may be justification for them to expand. We all know how that works, it's all about funds and customers, but that should be investigated. Okay. Gary, unless there's any other questions from the board? Go ahead, James.
Thank you, Chairperson. James Andrew, 830 Bremer. Would you, to the Carvana representative, would you be willing to hold that sign up that you said was proposed? My question is, what is the proposed size of the sign? Is it in writing? And what height is it proposed to be?
Yeah, we do have the detailed design in our plan development application package. I don't recall off the top of my head exactly what size that we called out. But, if the township has a preference, I know the other one in the township is quite large, but that's for vehicles approaching. This, I think, would likely be a little bit smaller, just because this is for vehicles exiting and they'll already be slow or stop.
Yeah.
We're happy to make the sign whatever.
Go ahead, James.
Follow up. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, Fritz. I know you by first name basis. I thought I kind of heard you speaking that we pay for it or a lot to the gentleman to your right regarding the fire hydrant or something. I'm assuming I may have misheard, but would you elaborate on what you were commenting?
What really amounts to, there's no water, city water in Strinestown. There are a few people that have well problems, all kind of stuff. So if they put the water across 83, or underneath 83, and there's city water to their property, it may be advantageous and it may be economically okay for York Water to expand their line up into Strinestown to service that community. If there's enough customers and enough people saying, yes, I want the water, but that's all up in the air.
Follow up on that segue of what you said.
Say,
Sorry.
for the fire hydrants that get installed, the township pays
if York Water Company approves, project goes on, and York Water Company says, hey, we're gonna offer water to the community. Is this a truly volunteer thing, or will it be, we're now in the area and it's a mandatory hookup if you pay for it?
Yeah, that cart's way before the horse. This is all speculation.
That's our township.
No, it's on that.
Could it be
I
though?
want, let's keep the transportation on this. This project is proposing to extend the water main to the property. What Daryl said is there is a potential that maybe York Water could be approached to expand this. At this point, there have been no conversations with York Water about bringing water through Stryingtown.
Is there a history of them making it mandatory once it's in the area? No. Thank you. Thank you.
Not that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
We're out of the water business.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Derek. That's good. Sure. Do your letter of the June 17th.
So probably the letter of most interest is the one from ELA Group, which is three pages of comments on the traffic impact study that was submitted. So Sioux Davidson does not currently have transportation services in-house, so we recommend the township contract with a separate group with ELA. So they did an independent review of this traffic impact study. Corey, was there anything in that letter that concerned you that we need to talk about?
I think most of these comments are, some of them are repetitive to the PennDOT comments that we got. So I don't have any issues saying that we're going to comply with all these comments for the submission package.
Anybody up here have any questions?
How about giving us 5 minutes just to read this?
Sure.
Corey, help me with page 1, transportation impact assessment, number 3. Does not match the traffic volume developed worksheet. What does all that mean?
So the traffic count information is located in about 5 different places within the report. This appears that one spot doesn't match the other as far as heavy vehicles. So I need to go back and verify that that's accurate.
Okay, how about on page 2, number 11? No gap study included. What's that mean?
Yeah, so during the scoping application, they always discuss, it's always PennDOT, because they tell us that what are the spots that we have to check. That if the levels of service are level of service DEP or F, if there's longer delays on the side street. PennDOT says check that box. If you have those levels of service, you will need to do a gas study. The levels of service at this intersection, all of our driveways are A's, B's, and C's for the level of service. So because of that, we're not planning on doing a gas study. The levels of service are okay.
The entrance itself is long enough and wide enough so that stacking would not occur.
Correct, it'll occur on site, not on testimony.
How about number 12? What does that mean to us?
So, Synchro is the traffic analysis software that we use. There recently was a change. It's a long, confusing story. The highway capacity manual is essentially the federal kind of the Bible as far as how you calculate levels of service and delay. Synchro is a software that was developed to make the highway capacity manual easier to use and understand. So there are different versions of Synchro, there are different versions of the highway capacity manual. This is a PennDOT comment as well about using the HCM, the highway capacity manual 7 edition.
Does the board have other questions from the report?
No, it looks like you got a lot of corrections today.
This is short compared to PennDOT letter, so.
How many trucks did you say a day? How many vehicles they would add?
So total number of vehicles
Per day?
at full build out would be roughly 2,800.
How many is that per hour?
So obviously it will fluctuate the hourly distribution.
Just do an average.
Okay, so the peak hour period is the AM commuter peak, the PM commuter peak, typically the highest volumes on Susquehanna Trail. So cars and trucks combined in the AM peak hour would be an additional 130 vehicles, and the PM peak hour would be 221 vehicles, and that will be spread across multiple driveways.
Per hour.
Yeah.
Your signs, those signs have proven in this township that they don't work. So you might as well save your money with those signs with the arrow and crossing it out. Save your money there. I'd say be a good neighbor and do your improvements when the roads can handle it. When the road improvements are done, be a good neighbor.
Hey, Gary, how about your June 17th letter? Yes, Davis.
Sure, so this is our third review on this project, and they have addressed a majority of our technical comments. In reading through this, I do need to re-add the sewer planning module was dropped off of this letter because the sewer authority did provide a willingness to serve. However, DEP came in and said that a full planning module would be required. So we need to add that back onto the letter. The planning module approval from DEP will need to happen. While the sewer authority has issued a letter that they have capacity of the plant for this, DEP has stepped in and said because the plant is hydraulically overloaded, it needs further review. Okay. So obviously, we've already hit on the York water aspect. Sewer aspect is also a big part of the development as far as getting those two utilities to the site. Otherwise, the biggest comments really come down to the highway HOP, getting PennDOT's approval of the traffic plan and modifications to the plan. We have some stormwater comments that are left. Most of them I'm not really concerned about. As Corey said at the beginning of the meeting, we did look really hard at that existing stormwater basin and asked for a full analysis of that. We're requesting some work on the end wall and the outfall pipe, as Corey already stated. So the way that this is designed, at least the way the improvements are designed, that existing stormwater basin is not proposed to be modified. So what we want to make sure of is that that basin is functioning to handle any water that's coming through it. Anything additional that they're putting down as far as additional impervious, they're making site improvements elsewhere to intercept that water before it gets to the basin. So as we reviewed the stormwater report, the point of analysis was the point that the water got into the basin. So that, that basin, let's say it received 10 CFS, and now they're sending 12, they're going to intercept 2 so that the basin still gets 10. And those aren't the right numbers. I'm just trying to simplify. So that's really the stormwater approach on the site. We're going to see a little bit of improvement on that site, as we talked in the beginning, because of the MPDS requirements. So they are not permitted to take credit for all of the pavement that's out there. They had to do a 20% reduction in the area of disturbance because of the MPDS permit, also because of our storm. So some of the facilities that are going in are actually going into over-detained water previously flowed off site. So again, we have some minor comments here related to stormwater, but we're at the point where we're pretty satisfied with that. And those are probably the biggies as far as, those are the big ones.
Well, the agenda says this is preliminary but final land development.
Correct. They are not planning to do a preliminary plan, this will be constructed in one phase.
Okay, was there
Makes sense to go
did
right.
we already do something? Did we do a waiver on preliminary?
It is in here as a request, you have not acted on it.
It's in which letter?
It's on the C.S. Davidson June 17th letter, if you look under modifications. Oh,
Okay.
that's the only modification they're requesting.
So we can take action on that tonight.
Okay.
How about a professional opinion on, I'm not real happy with this traffic situation.
Yeah, that comes down to your comfort, Carol. If you'd like to see a revision on, if you'd like to see a revised traffic study or a response to PennDOT before you proceed.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm more comfortable tabling until PennDOT answers.
Larry, you on board with that? Yeah. Okay, let's think about acting on the waiver to go from preliminary right to final. That we've been doing pretty regular without any invitation.
I'll make a motion that we move right on to the final plan.
Okay? And waive the preliminary.
Waiving the preliminary plan, yes.
Okay?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Who's second that?
And
Okay. In the matter of the final land development proposed to us, what action do you want to take?
I don't recommend the table until we hear from PennDOT.
And what, do we do that for the next meeting? Can we say until traffic is revised? What is the proper way to take it?
Have you heard an estimated time for?
We haven't gotten comments back from them.
You owe them.
Yeah. I was working on revisions on the traffic study, kind of pushing them a little bit till I got the township traffic engineer comments, because I don't want to have two versions of the study. So we just got those, so within a day or so, we're going to be resubmitting the traffic study back to PennDOT and back to the township. So then PennDOT has 30 days in which to review and respond.
so we're looking at 2 months.
The thing, again, I won't advocate for or against approval tonight. The question maybe you can ask Corey is as you respond to these comments, are there any comments on here that you believe would trigger additional improvements, or are these mostly administrative?
I think these are mostly administrative. Because at the end of the day, we have to satisfy PennDOT. If they want mitigation, if they want changes, we have to follow what they say to get the highway occupancy permit. So while I certainly appreciate, township engineers, reviewing their comments, much of those were the same as PennDOT. We're going to incorporate that into the revised study. And, we can't move forward with our highway occupancy permit plan until we have an approved traffic study. So that is a part of the approval that we will continue to move forward with separate from the land development package.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry, 220 Butter Road, Kelly Price.
Wait, I can't hear a word you said.
I'm sorry, Kelly Price, 220 Butter Road.
Okay.
My question is, I haven't heard anything about hazmat. So like, if we're doing cars and they're repairing them and fixing them, where is the building that they will be doing the repairs versus where the creek is that someone has concern about? And how would they handle their hazmat?
Corey?
I can speak to the building, the building where the vehicle repairs will be done is over here at the IRC Inspection and Reconditioning Center, which will be behind the existing, Odessa building. Within the car washes, the wash bay, there is oil water separator.
Water reclaims and stuff, so each charge that comes out of the car wash is treated. It will more dirty before it goes on the water.
Are cars delivered with full tank gas?
3/4.
And where's that gas come from?
We will have, roofing on site, for rural, for those vehicles, for a loaded on semi-car haulers. And our fuel tanks, they're double wall fuel tanks, so our secondary fuel. And we'll have to go through state permitting, for those, so we'll have to make sure that those meet all the.
And they're above ground?
Yes.
Did that answer your question?
I got it.
Go ahead.
So we talked about the lights. Are we gonna have to wait for a year for the lights to be fixed on their parking lot? That's not fair.
I'm gonna turn into zoning officer. So,
So your light, us driving down the road, and I live in Town, and I am covered by wood, so sometimes I can see your light all the way over at my house because they explained to me that they are not on the correct angle. And I'm hoping we don't have to wait for a year for you to fix them, because sometimes driving up the trail, they actually blind you while you're driving at night. Okay, so I was not aware of that. Yeah, I was not maybe putting it on.
yeah, there was, at some point in the last year, there were new lights installed. They're LED style, but they're installed at like a 45-degree angle upwards. To cast a lot of light, they don't have any cutoff shields on them. So it's just kind of spraying out.
And it's like a baseball field at night. You can actually see it. It is blind you when you come up the trail. Okay. We'll definitely take a look at that. We'll look at it.
James?
Thank you. Just for curiosity, does anybody know, and would they be willing to share what entity at PennDOT is reviewing this? If any of us citizens might want to reach out. It is what it is, sir.
Yes, absolutely. PennDOT engineering district 8 on First Street, Eric Conard is the PennDOT district permit manager. All that information is available right on PennDOT's website.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so if we're gonna table this, it has to be obviously pending or not until, or until traffic studies and PennDOT and so forth. And we have ample time to review the information. Okay, someone prepared to make a motion?
Let me jump in.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're going to table it mainly because of the traffic,
how do we do that?
That's just conditioned upon the outstanding funds. I want to be clear that you can't table it based on basically PennDOT
ELA.
review. It's based on ELA.
Okay, you understand that, Mark? Okay.
I'll motion that.
Okay. So the motion is to table the land development plan, until which time the traffic study and PennDOT response
For our traffic board.
for our traffic board.
I'll second that.
Okay? Got that, Mayor? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Corey, we're gonna check into where we're at on plan status as far as we need a time extension or not. Makes sense. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Fox Run.
No, that's correct, right?
Next is Fox Run on the agenda. Am I wrong? Which, that's correct.
No, no,
All right, you're right. The new agenda. Okay.
I don't see anything here for Fox Run.
Who's here?
I don't see anything.
No one's here from Fox Run?
Fair, Wade, and Associates LP?
Either McNaughton or Gordon Brown are here.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna pass over Ben. I guess if somebody comes at the end, we handle accordingly. Okay, the Butter Road minor subdivision, the Millers.
Good evening, Joshua George, I'm with Landlord Specific Design. Are you ready?
Josh, say the name again.
First name Josh, last name George. Folks call me George, Josh. Call me Josh, George. Preferably they call me Josh, because that's my first name, but either way, I respond. So, before you tonight is, what is a two-lot subdivision on Butter Road. The goal here is to take what is approximately a 39-acre parcel and convert it into 2 lots. And, I'm sorry, 29-acre parcel. Convert it into 2 lots. New lot would be for a single-family residential dwelling. So it's a very straightforward 2-lot subdivision. The intention is to have the new lot be sold to the Millers, who are also buying from the Millers.
Yeah.
So, son and daughter-in-law of the owner of the property. So pretty straightforward family subdivision. What we'd like to do is create 1 lot. It is about 10 acres, a little over the existing lot, and the remaining land is approximately 19 acres for your total right around 30 acres. The goal is simply to put a single-family home on the property and no real improvements otherwise. Of course, this would have to comply with the county stormwater management requirements at the time the home would be designed. But the plan before you is specifically for the subdivision of the lot itself. It's not depicting at this point any specific type of construction related to the home or the stormwater management. It's a very straightforward 2-lot subdivision, well accepted, nothing fancy there. So be happy to answer any questions that you have or go into any more detail if you have any.
Questions from the board?
What's your action here? It's zone agriculture. What are you seeking?
Just create 1 new lot.
No,
Ben, you okay?
Yeah.
Chris? Gary?
Yeah, we have some comments on the plan. none of which are too bad here. I will direct your attention to the very last comment we made under general comments, which goes right along with what Josh said. We recognize that the only action created by this plan is to create the law. So, in the future, the owners will have to apply for a building permit, they'll have to comply with stormwater management. At that time, the zoning review will be done to make sure the structure will sit within setbacks, but it's not going to have an issue with lot coverage, I assume. But all that good stuff. Correct. So just kind of, out of all these comments in here, for me, back in napkin stuff, I was just a little concerned about the location of the proposed septic. It seems like that's probably right where you want to put the house, and I really don't know if you want to put the well down slope of your septic. Even if you meet your 100-foot separation zone, I'd want to flip flop probably where you put your septic versus where you put the well. That's your Sure. Oh no, I'm sure the perk and probe for the septic went well, but what I'm getting at is if I were you, I would do some more planning as to where you're going to locate the house versus where you're going to locate the well, because it'll be very important where you drill your well in relation to your septic. So I full faith, and probably the location of your septic is the best spot for septic, because the closer you get to that stream, your soils are going to get worse. But to me, it wasn't clear on there where if the septic's located, where it's perk and probe, where's the best location for the house, and where are you going to meet your 100-foot isolation zone for your well. And just make sure you're drawing from the clean aquifer, not from your drain field, basically. That was it. This is more of a me looking out for you guys, not a hey, this is going to hold the plan up, but you may want to look at that a little bit closer.
Yeah, and the option only exists to do additional perks.
Yeah.
The important part from creating a lot is we have to have perks.
Correct.
And those meet the requirements of the township. They can always be moved later if necessary.
Correct.
So where are you proposing to put the home? Can you share that with us? Yeah.
So we use the existing driveway right away. Their property, homes right here, they would be right in around this corner here. So I think the well would probably be in that area there.
Yeah, so that's something that wasn't clear to me on the plan that shared driveway was proposed. So that opens up a little bit of can of worms there where we need to have a shared access agreement. Even though I know it's family now, something's going to have to be recorded. And the other thing, I'm not sure, I'd have to review the ordinance a little bit, if it's, really have to look at the driveway ordinance to see if it's required. Sometimes we allow shared access because it's the only way you can get to the parcel. In this situation, we always prefer, isolated access points for either lot. So if cost is the only reason that the driveway isn't being, its own driveway is being put in.
Well, they can always,
back here. So that's what
you can always propose a driveway
This is the new lot.
to be built,
New lot.
and then,
driveway.
I talked to that earlier.
yeah, okay.
Right, it wouldn't be a problem, I wouldn't put it right.
Say that again? Sorry.
I talked to Bethany earlier, if you had to put a driveway off the road, she would think that would be.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's about frontage here, so there's plenty of room.
Yeah. This was.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's anything precluding him from doing a shared driveway agreement. I would probably advocate that he gets his own driveway. It cleans everything up there. We always think about, right now, I'm sure it would work great, but I always think about the future.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Sure.
He wants his son to do all the snow plowing.
Yeah. That's the first 100 feet, right? I think you might be doing it anyway. I'm sorry, buddy.
Okay. Anything else, Eric?
No, nothing of concern. I don't see any reason to hold this up tonight unless you all feel differently.
You guys okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Yes, sir, motion.
Conditioned on the letter, please.
Condition on the letter.
Yeah.
And conditioned on a shared use driveway agreement if necessary.
Okay. I'll second that. Rich seconds it. Let Larry catch up.
Sorry, Larry.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Got it.
Okay, all in favor, vote for saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, thank you. Yep. How do you say it? Haran?
Haran.
Huh?
Haran.
Oh, you're next to chicken.
Oh, not me, not me.
That's your first name.
Okay, case 04-2026, the variance for chicken. How do you say your last name? Where are you at? Uh-oh. You don't see her? Oh, no. Okay. Well,
Is there any, even though they're not here, you can still make a recommendation.
okay.
Yeah, it's gonna go to the zoning with or without your approval.
Yeah.
So if there's any comments that you want to enter into the record, it would still be appropriate to do so.
My only comment would be do it with reasonable respect to your neighbors. And I think she had a comment in her original package of like 4 or 5 chickens and no rooster. Right. Yeah.
Okay, if you want to approve this matter.
Yeah. You okay, Larry? Yeah.
Motion to approve.
For, as she has recommended, 4 to 5 and no rooster?
As the application.
Okay. Chris? Okay, Ben, you made the motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll second it. All fair vote for saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 3-1. See, I know, zoning will take care of it.
So with that, you want to talk about Kaufman?
That one's a,
The
that one's a subdivision,
Okay.
so that one you don't need to act on. I mean, I will tell you, that one is kind of a, no, it's easy, because the preliminary plan has already been approved. So them submitting a final plan that matches with the preliminary, there really isn't any reason not to approve the plan.
So you're saying Fox Run, you could move forward?
You could if you want to, yeah.
I mean, I think we've hammered that thing all the way up.
It does have a, I mean, I'll call your attention, there is a little bit of a unique alignment in the roadway for phase 4. There's a, almost like a half cul-de-sac. That was worked out with Terry and Byron and McNaughton back when that plan went through the supervisor. It's a little strange. And I looked at it and I had to go back and research why that was done.
That's back in the upper corner.
In the upper corner, yeah, you see it's got this interesting little cul-de-sac. That was the, yeah, that was the selected road alignment based on the lot configuration.
You're talking about here on the left-hand side?
I am.
Okay, very good.
That bubble. There was a little bubble put on there. It's basically the dimensions of the cul-de-sac. That was selected as the design as opposed to putting in its own little cul-de-sac. That provided better lots, better access. I think that there was also fire discussion.
Yeah,
involved there. It's just, I just wanted everybody to just call your attention to that. That's a little non-traditional, but there was quite a bit of discussion that happened on that, quite a few years ago when that came in. So we did go back and check when this plan came in to match what was approved for preliminary. It does.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys if you want to push it forward, there's no stormwater, there's no permits to review. This is basically just finalizing these lots. They'll have to provide security for it.
And you also need your comments
Yeah, which are mainly administrative. There's nothing technical. All this technical work was done at the time of the, at the time of the preliminary.
Okay, board, what's your pleasure?
Yeah, I recommend approval.
Okay?
Second.
Eric's good.
Foxtrot phase, yeah, phase 4. Okay. All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion carries 4-0. Baron will be happy. Okay. Prosper Development.
Hi, I'm Naomi Brown, here on behalf of Prosper Development. And our engineer is actually Josh George, who is up here. He stepped outside to see the Miller dock, so he's right outside. If you guys want to bring that plan up, I can go grab him and bring that.
Yeah, well, I had questions, obviously.
That was quicker than I thought.
Well, hello again. Thank you for being so quick. We probably didn't do anything. But we like quick. Josh with George Campbell, Landmark System Design, and Naomi said that she already introduced herself and she talked to her briefly. So we are here tonight to present to you a special exception application for a proposed project right here on Copenhagen Road. And the goal of the project is to take 3 existing lots, move the lot lines around to create what would be approximately a 10-acre parcel, and develop that parcel in accordance with the village zoning requirements that are in the township zoning. So, in essence, this is a use permitted by right in the context of a special exception. But a special exception is essentially a use that's by right if you meet the conditions of the approval. And so, our goal tonight is to introduce this project to you, take your questions, give you some feedback on where we think it's headed, and then ultimately we'll go before the zoning hearing board to have their ultimate approval, hopefully, of this special exception application. And we're looking for the board's recommendation of support. So as you know, this is proposed as a 73-unit multi-family project. Multi-family dwellings are permitted by special exception in the village zone. The allowable density in the zone is 10 units per acre, and we are under that requirement. We're about 5 units under the allowable density here, so we're below the permitted zoning ordinance, and we are trying to develop this as much in conformance with the zoning ordinance as we can, to keep it as simple and as straightforward as possible. The zoning ordinance contemplated this type of use when it was written, and we feel like the proposal that we have for you this evening is consistent with that vision as outlined in the zoning ordinance. The units that are shown in the plan are 24-foot wide townhomes. And again, as a multi-family dwelling, this is permitted by special exception. We did submit a detailed application with our special exception request. It outlines and goes through all of the requirements that are listed in the zoning ordinance. I can go through as much or as little of this as you prefer, and I can also talk about any portions of the project, answer any questions, and so I would suggest that maybe I turn it over to you as a board to steer this process through the discussion and see what the discussion goes, and then try to answer all the questions you have.
Gentlemen, who wants to go first?
These are all in one lot, correct?
So the HOA will end up,
Well, it would very likely be a rental community,
okay,
and the reality of a rental community is that you really deal with one owner of the land, which actually makes the maintenance of that a whole lot easier to deal with than dealing with individual lot owners. So we've heard a lot of positive feedback over the years from townships where you're dealing with one owner rather than, say, in this case, 73 individual owners as part of an HOA. So this would be available to make sure that maintenance and everything is straightforward with one point of contact.
So these streets are all your streets?
Very likely they would be. We haven't progressed to that level of detail yet, but we have to work out exactly how that would work. But the option would exist to have them all private streets, or potentially, if the township is interested, perhaps a portion of the streets could be turned over to dedication. Those conversations haven't happened yet.
okay. Let's talk about streets then.
Where's your entrance? Is it between 28 south and 29?
On the screen, on the left-hand side, you can see the main access point coming in. On the left-hand side, it extends down to Copenhagen Road. There we go.
Oh, way up, it's a number of blocks. The roads are what dimensions and what do they need as far as township?
So the roads are shown as 32 feet wide. And the units are shown as having driveways and garages. And then there are guest or additional parking spaces provided in certain areas of the project to allow for guests or visitors or somebody who might have an extra vehicle. We're going to provide some extra spaces where possible. And then there might be some limited opportunity for on-street parking in specific areas, but obviously the driveways, we can't have parking on the street in front of those driveways. So there'll be potentially some area for some on-street parking. Again, that would be fleshed out as part of the land development review process.
What's the philosophy of keeping the roads private?
Well, again, it's part of talking to township. I mean, there's pros and cons of both sides. From our standpoint, turning them over would mean that the township would take over the maintenance responsibility for those roads and would have the opportunity to do what they want to with the streets. Keeping them private allows the development to be in control of those streets. That would maintain the street from a pavement standpoint, from a snow plowing standpoint, from any kind of maintenance that would need to happen. That would be done as part of the property owner's obligation for the overall project. So there's not really a plus or minus that didn't offset one way or the other. I think both are viable options here that we need to work through and talk with the township about.
You mentioned on-street parking. I'm not in favor of 32-foot roads and on-street parking. It just creates a very hazardous emergency vehicle operation. Personally, I'm not in favor of these being private roads. Tell me how you're going to access and what improvements are going to be used to get to the emergency exit other than your main exit.
Right, so we have the main entrance point, that's the day in, day out. What we are proposing from an emergency standpoint would be a 16-foot wide access drive, which if you're looking at the plan on the screen, is on the right-hand side, below unit number 703, and extending down to Copenhagen Road. A portion of that would be atop the existing driveway that's already there. And so the idea would be that would be improved as part of the project, would not be used day in and day out by the project for emergency purposes only, but the home would be then have a wide driveway, as an improved driveway to allow access that the home had already used. So we'll be putting a portion of that on top of the existing driveway. And then once
a 16-foot improvement, what's improved to you?
We would want to work with the emergency services folks to confirm what they would want, but generally speaking, that's going to be a capacity base and very likely paid.
I don't like the word likely.
Well, I like to use a little bit of wiggle words and a high
Well,
level
that
detail.
scares me. Wiggle words scare me.
Understanding that we're at a high level here, and, you know, we have not progressed into land development or any of those aspects of the project yet. We're purely at the zoning stage right now, but I would anticipate it being probably a paid back.
How did you control that driveway? What controls would be on?
So, the existing driveway would be improved for this emergency, so that would continue to be just like it is in the sense that it will be a driveway back to the existing home. From that point into development, we would need some sort of control to prevent people from coming in and out of there on a regular basis. That can take the shape of a gate, it can take the shape of some sort of fence, excuse me, it can take the shape of some sort of chain. There's a lot of different ways to do that. But we need some sort of control there so that it does not get used on a day in, day out basis.
We've been trying to get a standard with a gate with a knock box of some nature.
Right.
That fits your
Yeah, that's great. The Knox box is a pretty common tool for us on these types of projects and these sorts of situations. That way the fire department can get in and out with that Knox key, and nobody else should be able to do so. So yeah, that would make sense for us.
Just another comment on privately owned, you mentioned yourself, snow plowing. That means to me delayed service. If you plow it, it's delayed compared to the township.
So, I would say that that's not a blanket and true statement. It very much depends on who's hired to do it, what their schedule is, how that works, and then where this would fall on the priority list for the township.
Right.
The township obviously has a hierarchy of streets that they do in a very specific order, and if this was at the bottom of the list, it was the bottom of the list. I've heard that cut both ways over the years, so I don't know if there's a right answer to that, but snowplowing is an important consideration, obviously, because you have folks who want to get in and out, you have emergency needs, somebody have a health issue, you need to be able to get in as quickly as possible. So all that has to be addressed as part of how it works out with land development and with the final configuration of the access with.
Tell me about your sewer flow.
Yep, so proposing public sewer here, there is the potential that a small portion of the property probably could flow out towards Copenhagen Road, but the vast majority of it wants to flow to the back. And so one of the things that we would explore as part of this process is the option of extending through some sort of right-of-way or easement agreement, a sewer lateral or sewer main to the property to the rear. That would probably be the most likely scenario. The goal there would be to basically allow gravity to do the work instead of a pump. We're not very excited about having to put any kind of pump station in here. I don't think that the sewer authority would be very excited about having a pump station to put in here either. So our goal would be to try to work out an easement agreement with the neighbor to the rear so that the sewer can flow that direction.
How about a traffic study? The first time we saw this, we talked, you guys said you were going to do one.
Yeah, we have not done a traffic study at this point in time, and recognizing that we want to make sure that from the zoning perspective, we have a viable project before we spend the money to develop a traffic study. That's the reality. And so we recognize that a traffic study will need to be performed, hopefully as part of the land development process. And whatever the outcome of that traffic study will dictate what improvements will be required. I don't know where that'll shake out at this point in time. We heard that from first folks tonight about traffic, and they're obviously pushing out a whole lot more vehicles. But nonetheless, we would have to do a traffic study and see how the numbers shake out and what those improvements will be required.
Are either of you aware of the conditions in the AM prime time work traffic coming down Copenhagen Road and the stop sign
I did have some conversations with the traffic folks from Urban Anthony who were working on the Canal Road Betterment Project. And they were explaining to me that that leg of the intersection is actually going to be removed right there opposite. So there won't be the ability to go across there now like there is. But nonetheless, you'll still have the traffic you're talking about will not be impacted by that.
Okay. Now there's a buzzword, not impacted. What you're talking about on the other side of the Susquehanna Trail is correct. I agree with that. But still, in the AM, traffic backs up in the way of 20 to 30 cars at that stop sign at the end of the road. So if you tell me there's no traffic study and that's going to say there's any impact, you know, you pay for the traffic study, that means the traffic study is going to say no impact.
I wish it was that simple.
Well, that's my history after 30 years here. So all I'm telling you is one car is an impact. So prepare yourself, I'm going to push you to prepare yourself for some additional funds to improve things at the Susquehanna Trail. There's going to be no way without it, in my opinion. And that's my vote. So just be aware, this is unbelievable as far as traffic. I can't get out of my driveway in the morning. I can't cross the street to put mail in my mailbox. Okay. What else, gentlemen?
Is there to be future build out on this? Because like, it looks like a dead end or a stub put in there, like to finish out.
So right now there is no plan to do any kind of.
Where do you mean?
Oh.
No. There's a T right there that kind of comes to the adjacent.
Talking about this hammer.
Right there, yeah.
Here, yes. And there is no plan to extend that into the adjoining property. This is actually what's called a hammerhead, and it allows for people to get in and out of this particular driveway, and then they come out, and then they go out.
If successfully treated with any additional things, are you looking to improve?
In terms of the construction or in terms of the joint property?
Right.
So in terms of construction, it would be a one-phase project.
Okay.
And in terms of the joint properties, no, we don't have any plans to connect to anything at this point in time. We don't have any of the other land under contract, it's not part of the project.
I do have one question. This, to me, is a cul-de-sac. There's no out. There's in, turn around, and come back out. Too big.
Too big in terms of
Egress.
Too many houses.
And it's 250 feet, what is it?
I think it's 500.
What is it?
This is Mark and I were talking about this before, this is kind of a gray area here because it isn't a cul-de-sac in the traditional sense of the cul-de-sac. The township Saldo does not have loop roads on it, which is, you know, even this kind of stretches what a loop road is. Normally a loop road is off of your main, you have a loop off of your main road. This is a loop off of the interior road.
by the definitions that are outlined in Saldo, I believe is compliant. There's point earlier that cul-de-sac is a specific thing, which this is not in the cul-de-sac definition.
Can't do it.
Okay, Gary, can you help us?
Cul-de-sac should be a minimum of 250 and a max of 500. Again, yeah, this is cul-de-sacs. And let me see if it's fine. That's under the regulations. Cul-de-sac, a street intersecting another street at one end and terminating at the other in a vehicular turnaround. little loose. Something we have to talk to the township solicitor on.
Help me review what the actual request is for. And why is it why is it under special exception?
So this use is a special exception under the zoning ordinance, so they're coming here to go to the zoning hearing board to get the special exception approval. If that is granted by the zoning hearing board, then they'll be back here for land development.
First step of the circle.
First step, so this is a zoning approval, that's what he's saying, it's purely a zoning evaluation of the use allowed, conditional use special exception, similar, one goes to the elected body, the other one goes to the zoning hearing board.
Right, if this was a use by right, they would just come straight to us.
As with the land development.
But they need to get the special exception first.
I think we can move on to the special request recommendation, yes or no.
Yeah,
And then we'll
I
take
agree.
any questions for if any that come back.
Where in our zoning does it say it sets a special exception?
Under the zone, Darrell, the zone defines permitted uses and then uses by special exception.
Okay, I see it, number 24.
So,
Okay. And then the way the process works is we would look for a recommendation from you. We would go to the zoning hearing board, present a similar type of discussion and go through the zoning hearing board process. We have to prove that we meet the specific criteria of the zoning ordinance related to the special exception as outlined in our application in great detail. We feel very confident that we meet those requirements. And then there are also general special exception criteria that also applicable under Scott Mass. So we'll go through all that in the zoning hearing board as well.
Okay?
All right, I motion that we, not recommend this.
You're making the motion. So you're recommending we not send it,
No, my recommendation
Is
to the
it-
zoning board is to not approve
approve it? Okay? You second it? Okay? All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, the action is to not recommend approval, 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
there's questions back there.
Yeah, James.
Thank you. Great questions. My question centers more around the existing residents. When we get proposals like this, in this case was approximately 73 multifamily, with Freedom Square possible phase 2 or expansion, it brings in new people, new kids. Is the planning commission board, are they willing to try and, for the sake of public transparency and for future, take into account when all of these are being done, how closer are we getting to the capacity of our schools before new ones would have to be built when new approvals come in and we see our property taxes go through the roof for existing residents of this township? Is in future, could you take into account and share some numbers and say, based on this, based on that, based on what we think, this is how close our school's going to be be completely rebuilt, and we know what happens with our property taxes.
I don't have an answer for you, James. I know what you're talking about. There's not a whole lot of mechanism to keep the school board up to date. But I think the township, may get surveys and questions on a yearly basis from the school. And that's about the extent. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, your concerns, I think you sympathize with that. Sure.
Does that go into the decision process? No, the decision process of, hey guys, we approved this and we approve another one. our schools are gonna need rebuilt, we know the numbers. Is there thinking into that? Because I don't have those numbers, I don't know. Freedom Square is bringing in a lot more. Pardon?
And we'll need to definitely have a conversation within our township in the district.
But I would think that would be the school district's job when they see that. When they see that the number of houses that are, or developments are coming, that's their job. We don't take a look at what the schools can handle before we build anything. That's their job. When the houses go up, they have to see that ahead of time. Because when I was a zoning officer, they would come in and ask me, do you have anything in the plans coming? And if we have yes, then I'll give that information to them. Now that's for them to take back to the school board. Hey, we got a proposal that this is possibly happening. We got other places throughout the school area that are also growing. It's not only Conowaka Township, it's also Manchester, East Manchester Township growing, and so forth like that. So that all has to be taken into account for Northeastern School District. That's not our job as to do the study and do all the figuring, how many kids we're going to be putting out there to build.
Yeah, it's not our roles and responsibilities, but we can be good good stewards.
Because they would ask, what we have coming.
As us residents, where do we go to try and communicate to whomever about, we don't want to be, I'm going to be greedy on this one. I don't want to be seeing my property taxes go up to pay for new people coming in when I moved here because of the lower property taxes.
Sure, that's your district school, what? Four? But yeah, I mean, that's your district rep.
So we would be contacting them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, because they're a public official.
But I was told in the past, who's like a board member, she said that you can't, like a school can't build in anticipation of growth. You have to have the number in before you can build. So you're always kind of like
Behind the eight ball.
So there's no anticipated growth. So that's just what I was told by her.
Yeah, and that makes sense, yeah, yeah.
You can plan for growth, but yeah, really execute the expanded building without the.
You know, when Freedom Square came to us in the beginning, they did a very elaborate, can't say if it was accurate or not, but a very elaborate study that was presented to the school board on impact. Okay? So, they're trying, people try, but it's tough.
But hasn't Freedom Square kind of changed their vision? Weren't they supposed to have like a 55, weren't they supposed to have like an older segment?
Well,
and a newer one?
It's all part of it. Nothing has changed from the.
So that hasn't changed.
Correct.
No, it's all phased.
Yeah. Right, they're progressing through the conditionally approved, it's the conditional use plan. So the conditional use plan was their zoning approval to construct all of the different types of residential, commercial,
retirement,
retail, retirement, all of those different pieces. So what the township has is the township has protection that in any section that they start to build, if that deviates more than 10% from the approved conditional use plan, they have to come back and revise that conditional use plan. So where we're at now, what's being constructed is consistent with that conditional use plan. The deviations that you're seeing is the road might go like this instead of like this, as they get into detailed land development work. So right now, what's being built as phase 1 and what has been submitted for phase 2 is consistent with that conditional use plan for that northeastern corner. The retirement is kind of all, I think that's all Roseberry on the western part of the plan. The retail and commercial is down near Susquehanna Trail, so they're kind of, that's at least what we've seen.
I was wondering,
Okay.
Quick question, because I just want to understand this for me. So if we have rental properties in there, who pays the taxes for those houses?
The property
the
owner.
property.
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious, because
Yeah,
I.
which is
I
usually a
know
pass
it's
through.
their house,
They
but-
pass it through to the tenant, they're not gonna lose money, so it's a pass through to the tenant.
And your rent, you know, including his taxes and your rent. Yeah, not your rent, but their rent. James, come on, we want to get out of here.
I'm just gonna say thank you for denying it, and I have a feeling some other people in this area are probably grateful too.
Yeah, okay.
You might have another hand problem, just like the trailer park holding your hand, with it being a private road.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.